Dear Abimbola and Najite, how are you and life in Nigeria? Things are not too bad here, but they could always be better. My flight to Canada was beautiful, and I came out of the airport and discovered everywhere was white. There was snow everywhere. In a short conversation with the taxi driver who drove me from the airport, I found out he holds a PhD in agronomy from Pakistan, but his certificate is not recognized here. I wondered why. I didn't realize how cold it was until I got out of the taxi. It's like living in a deep freezer. No exaggeration. I spent the first few days sightseeing. Trying out new food. And trying to adjust to the cold. Next, I began to look for a job. With a master's degree in philosophy and a postgraduate diploma in theatre arts, plus years of experience in acting, directing and film production, and later, administration, marketing and sales, the Canadian labour market is waiting for me. I went from one office to another, responding to as many vacancies as I could. Over 50 applications in 1 week resulted in a few callbacks for interviews. But I'm always told that, even with good credentials, I lacked Canadian experience. I told one employer I'm a fast learner, and his reply, he doesn't have the time to teach anybody. I remember missing the bus one cold evening after job hunting all day. I almost froze to death and wished something could transport me back to Nigeria. Checking if I was at the right bus stop, I asked a man next to me where I was going, and he said, to steal and kill. I quickly moved away, wondering if the people here are as cold as the weather. I later found out steal and kill are names of 2 intersecting streets. I met fraudsters who posed as employers, charging fees for useless workshops, who led me on with bright hopes of securing a job, but I soon found out it was a scam. Can you imagine? Running out of money, bills to be paid, I humbly gave up the idea of a white-collar job and went to enroll at a labor agency. It was then I realized why a PhD holder drives taxi in Canada. Next day, I was called to report at a factory. The factory jobs were always temporary, and they kept moving me from one factory to the other. Hammering on concrete slabs all day, the job soon began to tell on my right shoulder. I hooked up with some theatre companies and began to attend rehearsals. I went from work to rehearsals, getting home exhausted every night. Most nights, I dreamt of home, only to wake up to face the terrible winter cold of Canada. Within my first few months, I realized that most of the news we hear back home about Canada are nothing but myths. Canada needs immigrants with professional experience, there are jobs everywhere, the weather is not too bad, cost of living is cheap, are all lies. Now that I've seen it all, I know what to believe. Meanwhile, in Canada, you pay tax on almost everything except the air you breathe. Don't be surprised to hear that there are beggars here too. There is nothing happening in Lagos that is not happening here, only on a larger and more sophisticated scale. Toronto is a beautiful city and majority of the people are friendly, but I've experienced various shades of racism. Just like everywhere else, there are good people and bad people, and I've met some really nice people and made some good friends. Eventually, I secured a short contract job at a theatre company called Artwork, and I was very happy, working in my field of specialization. While at that, I attended a series of interviews at some colleges. My contract with Artwork soon came to an end, and I was back on the road. I spent the days dropping off applications and attending interviews, and the nights searching for jobs on the internet. During this time, I got an admission offer to study independent documentary production at Humber College. I had to run from pillar to post to meet the deadline for tuition payment. I spent the rest of summer job hunting without success. Though I've acted in 3 stage plays since my arrival, I haven't been receiving professional fees because I'm not registered with the union. Luckily, I got a job as a bouncer in a big club downtown called The Government. Though I only work weekends, receiving a paycheck every 2 weeks was good news to me. Toronto nightlife reminds me so much of Lagos, but here, the parties get quite wild. Fall came and it was time for school. Being a student again is another experience entirely. Apart from having to adjust to a new environment, meeting new people, plus trying to cope with my academic workload, the financial side is the biggest problem. I have considered dropping out often, but the love of what I'm learning, filmmaking, keeps me going. So, I'm here, and I intend to make the best out of my stay. As a matter of fact, life here is both great and challenging. Some still comment on my English. I say Toronto, they say Toronto. I say rubbish, they say garbage. I say beautiful, they say awesome. But we communicate. I just wish the immigration policies could be reviewed in such a way that we new immigrants get properly integrated into the system, especially in the area of employment opportunities. I feel the government should work with the guilds and professional bodies, ensuring more flexibility with their rules and greater recognition of foreign certificates and experience. Well, I've got to do what I've got to do. In a matter of months, I'll be back in the labor market, this time armed with a Canadian certificate. Who knows, I may be luckier then. I love Canada, but I still think it's too damn cold.